Well, I got my highest jewel values with this one right here, so it's definitely got the sentimental value. Got extra mags and extra barrels. I just wouldn't part with any of them, actually. I mean, and if I had a chance, I'd get more. I'd get more, absolutely. You can never have enough of these parts. Oh man, extra mags, just you name it, we got it. Things accumulate, and you just never know what you're going to find when you start digging around and go through the stockpile. There's just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. How practical is it to keep accumulating? It's 2025. We're going to continue to grow. Hi, everybody. It's 2025. I hope everybody had a good new year. Today's message is all about the past and the present and the future. 2025 means that there'll be new things coming along down the pike this year. And the question that I have for you is how do you feel at this point right now? Are you having a less lethal hangover? Are you feeling like you already have accumulated a lot of stuff? Maybe you're even in the category of what I would call a less lethal hoarder. You accumulate stuff because I might need that in the future. I might need a part from that in the future. This launcher is essentially obsolete. I don't use it anymore. It's not up to date, but I hold on to it because it may have some practical application in the future. I may still use it as a backup. There's a lot of thought process that goes into why we want to keep hoarding, and I'm guilty. I just showed you some examples of how many barrels that I have. Even in some cases, I've bought new barrels as a backup to my current barrel, and my current barrel is perfectly fine. And barrels are these aluminum barrels. There's no reason to believe that there's anything going to happen to it, but I thought, yeah, I'll get a backup. So we do that, but then we end up with a lot of stuff. And maybe you could still consider it of great value to you. Maybe you're a collector, maybe you're a hobbyist, and this is your thing, and you want to just keep investing in this because you're all into it. And you could not live with yourself if there's a new launcher that comes along that you can't get your hands physically on that launcher. That's not me. I'm not a collector. I don't feel that insatiable desire that I have to do that. So I also am more of a minimalist at heart, and I don't necessarily want to keep accumulating stuff. I like to declutter. So I find that this is air guns in general and less lethal tools do require a lot of backup parts and accessories and kits. And I do have springs, and I have tons of O-rings, and I have extra barrels, extra detents. And so I have a lot of that stuff. But are you reaching a point where you're reaching your max and you can't really take on any more? I sort of feel like that a lot of times. That's why I'm hesitant. Every time there's a new launcher, I don't care how good the next launcher is. It's like adopting a child. You're taking on the responsibility. Now I'm going to not only get that launcher, which it looks nice, but I'm taking on the maintenance responsibility. I'm going to have to learn what are all the new O-rings for this launcher. Is there a kit available, or am I going to have to do all this homework and find them on an aftermarket somewhere? Are they going to be reliable? What kind of troubleshooting am I going to have to go through? So a lot of times what you already have is working for you is the better way to go. And that's also one of the reasons why on the firearm side, I migrated toward the Glock handguns, because of the reputation of reliability and the fact that there's parts everywhere out there. I don't have to have them all myself. I don't need to hoard parts. I can feel very comfortable that I can get what I need if something breaks. But I also can feel very comfortable that it doesn't have all these bells and whistles. It may not be the best ergonomically. It may not be the best for this or that. But all things considered, it runs and it runs and it runs. Air guns the same way. I want something that's reliable. I don't want to jump ship and go for the next brightest thing out there, which has a little track record. So I want to really take it carefully and slow. So as I think about 2025, I usually give some projection of what I think might be the new thing out there. And I also look back and I say, what was the launcher of the year in the previous year? I'm not feeling that this year. I feel more like the past year, there were some nice new launchers that came out. And there are some companies that are doing just solid work. But I've seen a lot of back and forth between people who favor one product or another, and I see a lot of discussion. But I don't see anything that has really emerged as being the number one thing that's going to take us going forward. I do believe in my vision, and I've talked about this many times before, what is going to be the future for less lethal defense and less lethal air guns is going to be smaller launchers. And the technology to make them smaller is going to require some creativity. A lot of what I see in the past, and I made videos before about what I dislike most about less lethal launchers, was the lack of creativity, the fact that they all look the same. They all look like a Tiberius T 8.1 pistol. They're all of that big scale. And I don't like that. It's impractical. Maybe it's okay if you want to put it in a vehicle or carry it in a bag. I really want to encourage people to think about practicality. I've shown you, and recently I've talked about EDC carry and the concerns there. I've talked about various things recently, and I've sort of really been homing in on practical, real self-defense with these launchers and the realities of carry, because at this point I don't know what's the best launcher for carry. I mean, I do still think the Byrna SD and their compact version that they had, they're very small. The Byrna without the safety. Those models are as small and compact as you can get, and the Grimberg gavel is as small and compact as you can get right now. I still think those are your best options for carry, depending on how much power you think you need to go with. I don't necessarily believe that more power is always better, but there's a certain threshold where it's people feel more comfortable, and I think that's somewhere around the 40-ish range. More than that, I'm not sure that that's less lethal anymore, and I'm not sure that that's a wise move. Every time you accumulate more launchers, you're risking at the end of the year looking back and having a hangover and saying, what did I do? You come out of this fog and realize I have all of this stuff. You always will find something that you really like the best, and your big bulky launchers will ultimately be the ones that get left behind. I don't care if it's more powerful. Your big bulky launcher will get left behind when a smaller version comes along that still packs a punch. It has less power, but it's smaller and more compact. You will definitely be carrying it. I'm willing to bet. Let me know how you feel about that. You don't think size matters? Let me know. Everybody have a good new year. We'll see you next time.